Hello, everyone. It's Joseph Shepard.
And I'm Marta Mama.
And we've been talking about spiders and how Americans don't know what they are. But welcome to Exposed España, a podcast where we break down everything Drag Race España Season 3. Now, Marta, before we get into this episode, I thought, why not let the viewer or the listeners in a little bit more into our lives? And let's go with a little game that we're calling My Favorites. Are you ready to answer these questions, Marta? And then you have to flip the script and ask me.
Absolutely.
What is your favorite food?
Okay, so I just discovered at 35 that I'm gluten intolerant. So I'm having like a midlife crisis with all that. But yeah, it's fine. It's okay. But I'm going to base my whole personality on that from this on, from this
Okay, that
moment
makes
on.
sense.
Yeah. So my favorite food is going to be anything with rice. I love rice. I eat rice every single day. Yeah.
Are you a regular rice? Do you add spices? Is it brown rice, white rice? What kind of rice do you like?
I make rice every single day. I will have rice in every different form, every different type of paella or with vegetables or sushi, or even we have like desserts in Spain with rice, like rice puddings and all that. Rice in every single form, gluten-free. It's very cheap, which is wonderful for single moms. So yeah, that would be for me.
So you're saying that if you were to ever be on Survivor, you would do amazing because they all eat rice.
I would love it. I would love it. Don't have to pay rent. Like,
yeah.
I would love it. Rice every single day.
What about your favorite drink?
Well, it used to be beer, but not anymore because it
of
has
gluten.
Yeah, and it's very much part of our culture. Like we drink beer from the top, like it's a social thing here in Spain. So right now I would have to say the most glamorous answer ever, water.
Water and rice. Once again, good for Survivor. Next. What is your favorite Drag Race season out of all the franchises? Do you have a favorite season?
I do. I should say Spain season 2. That's what I should, but that's not what I'm going to say. I think the superior season of every single season of Drag Race is All Stars 2.
Yes.
And there's no discussion about that, that it's when Drag Race was perfected.
Yep, that's when they learned.
That's when they learned. That's when they learned. And everything after that hasn't been the same, to be honest.
I will agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. Nothing's been the same ever since. And it was just like the rawness of all the girls too. Like it didn't feel too calculated. Everything was like, oh, those lip syncs.
And the cast was amazing.
The cast was so good.
Amazing. Like Detox, Katya, Alaska, like all of them. Like, oh, yeah.
Now,
I love it.
Your favorite Drag Race contestant?
Oh my God. I hope I don't hurt anyone's feelings, but I truly have to say Miss Latrice Royale.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I love Latrice.
I miss her so much.
I know. She was so funny. Everything.
She's my favorite.
Yeah, she's great. Favorite movie?
Oh my God. I don't know. I like stupid movies, like movies that are so bad that they're amazing. Do you know what movie is The Faculty?
Yes.
I love that type of movie. It's like they're supposed to be like kind of serious, but they're super camp.
That's so funny. I literally watched that for the first time like a month ago.
Oh, really? I was with my girlfriend that month ago for the first time for her again. And she was like, why haven't I seen this ever? It's the best movie ever.
Yes, it was so campy. It's so good. And then you have your drama filled in there. Oh, such a good movie. No. Good choice.
Thank you.
Favorite candy?
Oh my God, I love candy. I love candy. My favorite candy is Bestia's outfit for the ball.
Good choice. Good choice.
All of them all together. I'm not a chocolate girl. I've never liked chocolate, really. I think it's a little bit overrated. Controversial. I know a lot of people don't like that. But I'm not super into chocolatey things. I like more fruity, like, fruity stuff. I'm a bit
Yeah,
fruity.
fruity stuff. We're fruity.
We're fruity.
And last one, what is your favorite lip sync of all time?
Okay, this is also obvious. Like, there's no discussion about it. Latrice Royale against Kenya Michaels. You make me
Mm,
feel like a natural woman with Latrice singing to her pregnant belly
so
and
good.
Kenya just twirling around her. I can watch that like for hours and hours and hours on end. I am obsessed with it. I think it's the best thing that has ever happened to Drag Race, to be honest.
That's a really good choice. The most
Okay,
awkward thing.
it is like little Kenya with a pregnant belly too, and
Yes.
the hair flipping, and Latrice there living the
Just
moment. There are
standing.
a
Yes.
lot of very good lip syncs, a lot.
Mm,
Like I love a lot of them, but that one I will always remember. Like it's canon. It's like the thing people go against. You
yeah.
have to make it better than that. Yeah.
True.
I want to know about you, Joseph. What about you?
Yes.
What's your favorite food?
I love, and I have always loved since I was younger, and it puts me into a great kiddie atmosphere. I love chicken tenders or chicken fingers or
Oh,
chicken whatever. I love it. I think it's just simple. You really can't go wrong. I mean, you can, but you really can't. And yeah, I would say that's my favorite food.
oh, so cute.
Think
And
about.
what about your favorite drink? Are you a drinker?
I am a drinker. I love a good margarita with some mezcal. I love that.
Mm,
I love, but also I love a good seltzer water just by itself, like a good soda
really?
water. Yeah.
Oh my
I love the
God.
bubbles. Mm-mm-mm.
Oh, so sparkly. That's so
So
fancy. I think.
sparkly. Yes.
Okay. What about your drag race season? You have to say All Stars 2, right?
It is All Stars 2. Literally, when you said it,
Of
I was like,
course it
there's
is.
no other. There is no other. That is just a different level and breed of drag race. Like the
Yeah.
talent and the caliber. Like, oh, such a good season. And now I need to rewatch it. So I'll do that tonight.
They all knew what to do, how to act. Like they all knew when to go crazy, when not. Like
Yep.
it's not. I just love it. I'm obsessed.
So good.
And your favorite drag race contestant?
Oh, you should know this very well.
Is it Carmen Farala?
Yeah.
No. Is it really?
Yeah. There's
Ah.
just there's something about her as an individual. I think she's beautiful. I think her drag is just amazing. I think her as an individual person is great. Yeah, I love her. I love her.
Okay, I still have to change that for Paquita next year. Okay, your
Yes.
answer.
Okay. Okay.
That's my mission now. Okay. What about your favorite movie? What are you into? What do you like watching?
I love bad horror movies. Horror
Oh yeah.
movies. Like they got to be bad. Like I don't know what it is. I love like the old ones from like the 80s and like the early 90s when it was like very campy or like the kills would be like bad. Like that's my favorite stuff. And I don't
Oh
know
my God.
why. I just think it's like it's camp. It's camp.
Yeah, like the old 90s like zombie movies with
Yes.
terrible makeup and terrible effects and all that. Oh,
Yes.
I love that. I'm so into that.
Those are the
So into
best.
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And do you like candy? Are you a candy
I do like
boy?
candy. I do like candy. I think that um I you like the fruity. I'm not totally down for the fruity. But I'm more of like an ice cream person. I like a good ice
Mm.
cream. But if I had to choose, I would probably say like a good. There are these bars that are like a cookies and cream chocolate bar. My favorite. That's what I would say.
All gluten everywhere.
Gluten
Lots of
everywhere.
gluten. Yeah, that's what
Gluten.
you like. And what's your favorite lip sync of all time?
Ooh, I mean, there's so many good ones. I love Shut Up and Drive.
Mm.
Um I loved a lot of the ones this previous season, season 15. Like I love like the bitch I'm a boss and stuff, but I would have to say my favorite lip sync, Carmen Farala's Wet Wig.
Oh my God.
I
Do you
think
love
that I
it?
think that that was probably one of my favorites because I didn't expect it. Like
Hmm.
the chills that I got when it happened, I was like because I mean, according to her, which I'm going to believe, Carmen, but she hadn't really watched Drag Race or anything. So to be able to do a random reveal of a wet wig and think of that, mm, mm,
The taste. And we
the
hadn't
taste.
seen her lip syncing before.
Yeah.
Like even perform. We didn't know what she was gonna do. Oh, that's so cute. I'm gonna tell her.
Yeah, you should be like.
That's so cute. That's so cute. I love to know all these things about you. We're very similar, I think. You should check if
Yeah.
you're gluten intolerant,
I
Joseph.
probably
Just in
am.
case.
I probably am. I have lots of stomach issues. And I was going to say, Marta, you can take us to the break, but I apparently didn't change the language from last week. So we're going to take a break and we'll be back. So stay tuned. We are back. It's Exposed España. Now, let's get into this episode. I have some questions, Marta. Why do they start every single episode and the Supreme has to tell them what the prizes are over and over and over and over again?
Right? But they do that in the US
weird?
too, right?
No, not every time.
Not every time, right?
Because he'll like just randomly he'll be like, hello, 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 whatever. And then he'll be like, the prizes are. And I'm like, again? Or did they change?
And they're pushing the tour, El Gran Hotel de las Reinas, in every single episode as well.
Well, I guess that would make sense then.
Well,
because they need to go.
I don't know if it's because of the sponsors or they're just like very proud of being the first franchise that gives them money like every week to all the winners. So they want to show off,
As
like,
they should.
The right thing.
And the Supreme came in, and once again, he was wearing an ASO suit.
Do you have it too? Do you have this one? No, you don't have this one. No, okay.
I saw it though when I was looking.
But it doesn't look like an ASO.
It doesn't. It looks good. And then he took the extra layer and he had like a little shirt under it and he had it painted too. He had to have done that himself or had his stylist do that. But it was really, really cute. And one thing that was not cute that I know that you will not like. Did you like this little popping balloons? Because I felt a little uncomfortable.
You felt uncomfortable? Imagine how I felt. Like there were some of them, like Vanya. I think now she should have a restraining order from that pit crew member.
Yes.
Like, girl, get a grip. You're gonna get a lawsuit. Like, stop it.
Oh.
But I also like that, like, of course I'm obsessed with Paquita, but she refuses to do anything sexual. And in fact, when she spoke to the pit crew members, she used like the neutral gender. She said chicas instead of saying boys, like she called them. So like she's like just like bite. And then in the editing, they said like, oh yeah, she's such a dominatrix, trying to make it sexual, and it's the total opposite.
And it was like, no, yeah. I saw that and I was like, oh, like when she did that, because she did the hand one, right?
She grabbed the balloon and told the guy, bite it.
Yes. I just think, I think that it's just so, it's very interesting to me and I find it a little bit odd. Like, I didn't mind those like challenges back in like season 3 and 4 because like, things were totally different, 10, 15 years ago in Drag Race. But now it's like, it's kind of, it just made me feel uncomfortable. And I was like, I bet it's making Marta feel uncomfortable if I'm feeling uncomfortable.
I just don't get the point. Like, I'm not a prude. I'm super into like sexual jokes and let's talk about dicks and all that. I'm okay with all that, but make it funny. I don't think it's funny having two people like not talking or anything and just like grabbing them, and it makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't know. I don't think it's necessary. And I even think it's like sexier what Paquita did. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's a different vibe. It's a sexier energy, in my opinion. But well, you want to make it, these type of things are very common in the LGBT community as well, like in a lot of parties, and the sexualization and treating hot men as just objects that are standing there. This exists in our community, and I don't want to be blind of that I know that exists, but I'm just not super interested in that. to be
Same.
honest.
Well,
Mm,
on that case, they had to pop balloons in between the pit crew members, however they seemed fit. Some took on the challenge, like Vanya, and went a little hard, and other ones went the Pegida route, which was great. So when they pop these balloons, little color of confetti would come out, and that would tell them basically what scene or team that they are in for this acting challenge, this sequel acting challenge. Now, I want to go over the movies with you because I'm familiar with two of them, but one of them I was not familiar with. So I was familiar with the others, and I was familiar with the record. I'm not
mhm.
familiar with El Granato. I don't know what
El
that is.
Guarranato. Yeah, it's based on the movie El Orfanato. That means the orphanage. And it's a scary film in Spain where, this lady grew up in an orphanage, and when she's an adult, she goes back to live in that orphanage with her son. And it looks like a lot of children died in that orphanage, and suddenly
Mm,
her son disappears, and all that happens. Like, I think you can get the story from what
yeah.
was happening. Kind of. I really liked the writing. Like, writing and the acting challenges are usually terrible. I usually
Yes.
hate acting challenges. But this one, I think you could understood what was going on, kind of. If you
Totally.
compare it with the acting challenges in season one and season two, especially, like, you remember that Física o Química thing?
Yes.
Terrible.
And then what was the.
And Carmen with the banana, building a
Yes.
banana.
I'm
That one. So I think we're improving in some things.
Oh, 100% improving. Okay, cool. So that's what that one is. And the
Yeah.
weird thing that was annoying me was just like I wanted to know what the translation of that was, but they didn't even put the translate. Is there is it actually translatable? That El Granato?
Guarro means like a pig, like a dirty
Okay.
person. So they just, creating like funny puns with like sexual jokes with everything, of course. Uh,
Because the
Go figure,
subtitle just said the exact same thing, and I was like, I have no idea what it means, but okay.
I don't understand what's going on with the subtitles this year. Like, honestly, I'm very confused. They're not translating anything. They're not even trying. I don't know. It's just saying like the ho nato or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is basically like the orphanage, which you were saying.
Yeah.
And then let's get into the record movies. There's like three of them, aren't there?
Four, I think.
Four.
Yeah. Yeah. I love zombie movies.
Yes. And this is from Paco Plaza, right?
Yeah. The guest judge is the director of the four movies. Yeah. So cool. I think he was a great guest judge, like
Oh, yes.
directing the
Loved
girls and
him.
the comments and all that. Very interesting. Very
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah. So that movie is about, there's a couple of journalists, like a reporter that goes into this building where stuff are happening, and the building gets sealed off, and there's like a zombie outbreak inside. So you can't escape, but you're still like being the reporter, and it's all that drama.
Ooh, ooh. And we got to
Mm.
see a beautiful Paquita come out and be like, oh.
It's so funny. It was so
And
funny.
then the last movie that we had was The Others. Now, is this based off the same one that I would probably know, the US one?
It's not from the US. It is in English, but it's a Spanish movie. It's a Spanish director and it's Spanish crew, but it was Nicole Kidman and it was in
Oh,
English. Yeah, but it's a Spanish movie actually. You didn't know that, right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's the original one is the Spanish movie. The one you've seen with Nicole Kidman and all that. Yeah. It's about that one, but they introduce like they're looking for a nanny because there's a nanny in that film, and they introduce that instead of getting that nanny, they get like another one that is Mary Poppins, Mary Pompis
Pumpkin.
actually, which means like Mary butt. Pompis is the butt. So Mary Poppins is like in the wrong movie and it creates all this drama.
Are you guys familiar with Mary Poppins?
Of course.
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like this is what happens. Like if you were to have never known about Mary Poppins, like hypothetically, the
Yeah.
Supreme would say something like, "You're gonna be Mary Poppins," and then the cast will be like, and so that's kind of what happened when that was brought up, and I was like, wait, do they not know who Mary Poppins is? But I guess you do.
We know, but we're not expecting her in this terror movie, you know?
Yes.
Like it's weird. It's weird.
So let's get into these performances. Let's start with the first group, which was say it with me.
Guarranato. El
El
guarranato.
oh my gosh. Can't do my
Guarra.
guara.
That's a nice dirty word that you can use in many different contexts, you know? Guarra.
Ooh. So we had Ornella as the medium.
Mm-hmm.
We had Kelly Roller as Atiko, huh? Then we had Pink Shadora. Then there was also Vanya. And so I was laughing so hard at each of them because of their lollipops. And then Vanya being a pig. And then having that bag over her head, I was laughing so hard at them. I wasn't even really paying attention to anything else going on.
It's true. Their physical comedy was amazing.
So good.
Did you see that Kelly was wearing one
One
heel
roller
and
skate.
one roller skate? That's because her name, Paticoja, means like a person that is limping, like a lame person.
Oh.
So she's limping. That's why she was using one of each. Yeah. But the person I liked the most, I was most obsessed about was Ornella.
Oh, yes.
Like what?
It was very
She had a
surprising.
Yeah, well, we all knew she's a great actress. Like since the Meet the Queens, her Meet the Queens was basically like a movie scene, but she had a mustache because they got like this name of this TV host that has a mustache that is called Juan y Medio. Imagine you're like Steve Harvey or something like that, like
Uh-huh.
a TV host that is very well known, and they mix that with the word medium, like so that's why she has a mustache and she's being all campy. And I love it. There's a wig reveal, like the stupidest wig reveal.
Oh my gosh, that was so funny. It was like
Very violently takes one off and the
it's
one
the
underneath looks
same.
exactly the same. I love that.
It was so good. I will say that, I mean, I don't know if maybe it was lost in translation, but I will say I didn't think Kelly Roller did as bad as what they were saying.
I didn't think she did bad either. She just had the most serious character, and
Yeah.
then they were saying, "Oh, it wasn't funny." Well, I didn't have any jokes,
Yeah.
like I had to say these lines, and there were no jokes. But I think the four of them did amazing. But Pintadora and Vania, in their own little category, did amazing with the physical comedy.
Mhm.
And Ornella did amazing because she's an amazing actress. So
Yes.
Kelly did very, very well, but maybe she didn't stand out in that team.
In
Maybe
that,
it's
yeah.
because the role she had, or just because the other people were very strong.
Agreed.
I don't know. Yeah.
Agreed. Well, next up we had Drag Rec. Now, this was another part that I was just laughing at. So we Bestia was playing Pablo, who was the video recorder, right?
Yep.
Then we had Petita, who was playing
Angela Mortero.
and that was the reporter. And then we had Paquita, who was a little scary little zombie demon girl that I like to call her.
Zombie demon girl. Oh, she's gonna love that. Okay. Yeah,
What did
they
you
were so
think of this
cute.
one?
I thought this was everything. Like, Bestia was having some problems. You're not going to understand this with the subtitles, but you couldn't understand what she was saying
Okay.
very well. So that was like a huge standout in that moment. But Pitita and Paquita did such an amazing job. And they're used to, like, they usually are serving amazing looks. So when you see them really acting, playing a fool, not taking things too seriously, and just it's so refreshing as well. It's not only the beautiful girls can only be beautiful. and the ugly girls are the ones that can act. It's not that. Like, they're very
Hmm.
talented. Yeah, I think it was so funny. I love Paquita. I'm super biased.
Oh, I was loving every bit of it, and the whole time too, I was like, Marta is eating this up.
She had the accent of like a very old person from Andalusia. Her accent was very funny. That's not translatable either, but she was like a 106-year-old woman voice. She's
Yes.
I loved it.
I thought that one was good. And then I would say that, do you believe that Petita was the best?
No, I
Okay.
don't.
Okay. I
I
just
think
needed
she
to make
did a
sure.
good job,
Yes.
but I think she did a good job at delivering the line she had. I didn't think that she added a lot to the character that was written, but she did an amazing job. She did a very good job. It's not that she did bad, but did she deserve the win? You know,
Mhm.
we don't know. Oh, she deserves it because she's a very hard worker, very talented. I'm very happy for her. But I didn't think she was the best actress in that sketch, personally. Do you agree?
Maybe if she would have put back on that weird squid outfit she had last week, it would have been acceptable.
Like as that reporter, like a squid
Yes.
reporter.
Ah, yes. Kind of like how what was Dahlia Sen with the broccoli?
Yeah.
And the last group we had was the others. We had Clover Bish, the Macarena, and Visa. And Clover Bish was Anna Lolocking. And Clover tried. I will say that Clover tried.
Yeah.
I will say that Visa tried, and I think that Clover and Visa, when they were starting the scene and everything, I was a little confused and didn't understand what was going on. Once the Macarena came in, I will say that I was like, "Oh, here's the fun," like
Yeah.
this is what it is. So, not my favorite of the groups.
No, it was a little bit harsh, but I think they did reasonably well.
Mm-hmm.
Like they all were doing the right stuff. It's difficult sometimes, and Macarena had the role that was going to shine, and she is very, very talented and super professional, has a lot of experience on TV and know how this works.
Yeah.
So when Macarena comes out, it's like very obvious that she's like stealing the scene. I was so happy for her. It was like such a nice moment.
And she looked great too. I like there was a few times I was like, wait, is that the Macarena or is it not the Macarena? Is this Mary Poppins? Who is this?
And she was fully committed. Like when she was
Mhm.
grabbing Visa's tits, she was really squeezing there. And she, she didn't
Yes.
lose the character in any moment. Like she did a very good job. I think no one did a bad job.
Yes, I agree with you there.
And that usually happens. There's usually like 6 or 7 people that do a bad job in the acting challenges.
Yeah. And they all were extremely well. Like some were better than others, but they all had their lines down basically, and they all are pretty great. So when the judges end up coming down to it, I kept wondering, what's the percentage of your runway theme? Because your runway wear may have put you in the bottom or the top.
I don't know. I think that when we watch Drag Race, we're not necessarily thinking that we're going to get the most objective result every single week. Like that's a belief that we suspend because we love Drag Race. So we just have to accept and celebrate whoever wins. And for each of us, we all have a different opinion. But the good thing about this is that none of us have the difficult position of being a judge in Drag Race.
True.
I wouldn't like to have to choose between all these things. So we can just enjoy it as viewers and we don't have to decide who wins or who doesn't.
True.
Hmm?
And on that note, we're going to take a break. And when we get back, we're going to get into some sad things because of some conversations that happened in the workroom, along with my worst me runway. So we'll be right back. We're back. We were in the workroom. The girls are getting ready, and there was an extremely sad story that Visa told about her father and how their house had ended up basically catching fire, and her father died in the house of the fire. But Visa was having issues with it because the only memory that she had of her father alive was basically her father being abusive towards her mother, which I found extremely heart-wrenching, because if that's the only memory that you really remember, and if your father was not that great of a person, and then to have them die such a tragic death when you were that young, oh.
Yeah, terrible. I was not prepared for this. Like,
I
I thought
wasn't
it was
either.
so vulnerable and so raw, and the way she chose to talk about it, because many times when you have a tragedy like this happen in your life, you omit a lot of stuff that you're feeling, right? And emotions are very complex, and tragedies are very complex. And you don't only have to feel one thing at a time. We feel multiple things at a time, and sometimes you feel good and bad things at the same time. And it's a very complex story with very complex emotions. And I'm so thankful for these type of conversations. I think that's something that Drag Race España has, that they can be very proud of everything that happens in the workroom and all the conversations that they have in the workroom. They're always like so special. So, it's not only the sobbing story that, oh yeah, like, I don't know, there was a lot of truth and vulnerability here. Did you cry? I cried.
I did. I got teary-eyed. I don't necessarily cry. My boyfriend cries all the time, but I teary-eyed. Yeah, I was very, very glad that she got it out. And then to be able to also have the moment on the runway, which we'll get into in just a second, that I thought summed it up extremely well. And she did a great job at that. But let's do a 180. I thought 360. Let's do a 180 and let's get into the judges, because I want to talk about the Supremes look.
Okay.
The Supreme said, you know what? I'm going to paint myself red today.
Why not?
Why not?
The red usually stains pretty bad. If you paint yourself red, you're going to have a problem for a couple of days.
Hopefully she didn't have to record anything the next day.
Yeah.
I thought she looked great. I don't know who did this makeup on her, but I will say it was not splotchy. It was not Alaska as a blue figure.
I live for Alaska as a blue
figure. Yes, it's so good.
I must say that with the lighting, it looked like her highlight was too white.
Yes.
Like, it looked like she had a white mask. But then when it was like a little bit closer, you could see that it wasn't. It was just a lighting problem. So if you really look to the close-ups, it looks even better. And she says that she's wearing an unlocking design. So that's cool. Yeah.
Well, isn't that
Your
something?
two favorite girls. Yeah.
Oh. And I always find it interesting about the Javi's clothes, because I always feel like they are always switching. And I feel like at least one of them is always stuck in 1999 Aqua Barbie girl moment. Like, it is always this like late 90s, like over the top moment. And that's what they were serving. I don't know necessarily the white, what that was serving, but it was serving. And then we had
it's a little bit like the Fifth Element, post-apocalyptical something. Yeah, cute. I don't know. And Anna always serves. Like, Anna
always serves. And once again, she does not look her age again.
No. She's 1 week older than last week, She looks even younger.
Well, let's get into these runways. We have My Worst Me. And how do we say that in Spanish?
Mi peor yo.
Peor yo. Mi peor.
Yeah. You're getting so much better at Spanish.
I just have to actually pay attention.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
When you're interested.
And just no. It's pay attention and just saying it fast. I need to stop being like so hung up on trying to get things right that I fuck it up.
Yeah.
Because you can't. Fuck it up.
You can't. No.
Vanya came out, and her was me covered in Party City spider webs.
So you didn't like it.
I thought the dress was very beautiful. I was not a fan of the spider webs behind.
Yeah. Yeah, I get what you mean. What I thought when I saw this is that I don't know what's going on with the lighting in the runway,
Mm-hmm.
but I couldn't see anything. Like the lights on the background were blue and purple.
Yes.
I had to wait to be able to see the look because I couldn't really see it. I think she looks good. Like, it's Vanya. She's going to give you old school, old school, old school, old school
Yes.
drag. She looks good with the black hair. She never wears black hair, but she's been wearing that and she looks very cute, but it's not wowing, right?
Yeah, I think it comes off a little bit costumey. I think it's just because of all the webs behind her for me. Like the dress and the silhouette is perfect. Like you said, like we don't necessarily see Vanya wearing anything like this. The purple looks great on her. I love the spider earrings. I just think that sometimes too much is too much, you know?
Would it be enough without that? Like, would it be enough spidery? I don't know. I think the problem with the thing behind the spider webs is that you cannot see that she has like a spider web crown.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, that's the problem. You cannot appreciate that. I think it would look better if she just had that and maybe
Yep.
spider webs hanging from that or
Yes.
hair even.
Ooh.
Yeah.
There you go, Marta. Marta, costume designer coming up there. Yeah, I agree with you. But the purple did look good on her. I will say that was probably the best I've seen her look in a while. The best that the next person looked was not on this runway. Miss Kelly Roller.
No. Yeah.
She came
Yeah.
out
What do you think?
She came out in like a black, it looked kind of like a black bag type thing, and she took it off, and then she had like gladiator-esque gold bodysuit with black skates and black chaps and black gloves and this
Oh.
to me, there's certain fabric that I believe can potentially look great in person, but when lights hit it, it makes it come off cheaper. And I think that that's what happened with her. Unfortunately, it was that the lights and how everything was, I don't think it's what she thought she was going to look like.
I do think she knew what she looked like. I think that she doesn't care that much. Like, this is not too important for her necessarily. I don't know. I think she's probably one of the queens that spends less amount of money, and we should stop shaming that. That should be something you're proud of, actually.
Yeah.
Like people that spend a lot of money and look always fabulous, like that's quite easy. But well, this look has all types of wrongs, obviously. Like before she takes it out, she's supposed to talk about depression. Okay, so time on her life where she was suffering of depression. And she told the whole story about why she left the chaps on. And it's because even if you get over depression, a little bit stays with you or whatever, like a long story. But I'm okay with that. But the chaps don't have to be that ugly and that unflattering. I'm gonna say a lot of bad things about this look, but I respect Kelly enormously. But them hips don't match them shoulders. If you have broad shoulders and you're going to be like put shoulder pads on the outside of your shoulders to make them even wider, and you're not padding, you're going to have a problem with your silhouette. The chaps do not help with that silhouette problem, so she looks like an inverted triangle the whole way. All of those fabrics look pretty cheap. I'm pretty sure this is something that she already had, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. She's skating. Her face looks gorgeous.
Yeah, I will say her face looks gorgeous.
Yeah. And that's about it. The look is not very amazing. The concept is a little bit simplistic, actually, and we didn't get it. I didn't get it. I don't know. She said she was inspired by the Kim Kardashian Met Gala where she was all black. I'm like, she hadn't said that. I don't know. Shouldn't have said that. I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't have said that. Next up, we have Ornella, and her worst me is, if I get this correct, you can tell me. She was basically talking about, is she diagnosed with HIV?
I think so.
Okay.
But what she was referring to was after the diagnosis, the shame and the silence, and not like she stopped going out anywhere and she stopped talking to people, and she really got into a very dark place after all of this, and it takes a little while to understand what's going on and be in peace with that. So she had this look and she comes out with her mouth covered with like
Mhm.
a armor piece or something. And then when she opens it, like a lot of rose petals come out, and that's the color for HIV awareness. In the back, it said, silence equals death. And I thought this look was super fun. I wasn't a fan of the boots, but I think it's stupid talking about the fabric of the boots, you
Oh,
know.
yeah, 100%. I think that the story was there, and I think that the story was, it went in really, really well with her outfit. And I love the spikes. I thought the spikes were great. The bodysuit, I think, under was great. The colors for the spikes. And yeah, there's really nothing that I can physically say about this. I think that she did a great job at representing and showing the stigma behind HIV too, because there's such a big stigma behind it.
Huge stigma. And the drag looks that are about this, like I always feel, I don't know, very emotional. I always feel they're super powerful. Do you remember the pink triangle look by Cheddar
Yes.
Gorgeous? That was
Yes.
so amazing. And it's so difficult to make it literal and understandable.
Mhm.
And I like that in Spain they take the time, like if you don't understand what the reference is, they're gonna tell you.
Yeah.
That doesn't usually happen. They usually say like, "Oh, we didn't understand this or that." No, here in Spain they take the time to explain
Yeah.
you, and you have Anna in the judges panel saying undetectable equals
Yes.
untransmittable. So I love them for that. I love them for that. I love Ornella. I thought Ornella should have been on top this week, to be
Yeah.
honest. I'm
100%.
obsessed.
Her character was
Yeah.
great. Her outfit was great. I agree.
Yep.
Next up, Pink Jadora. I'm very confused with this look. So this is what it looked like to me. It looked like she was the Virgin Mary and
Yeah.
she had her baby, and then she decided to fall asleep on six other babies and they all stuck to her. I didn't get the other baby heads.
Joseph. Well, even her hair is full of like little baby parts.
Wait,
For
what?
Yeah, for me, what I understand, and I spoke a little bit with her, um, this is about the shared trauma that almost like a lot of people have in the LGBT community of the how difficult it is to create a family.
Mm,
So it's like she is not able to have babies in a natural way. She's been married for 10 years, and that's not an easy process in Spain, adoption and all that. And she's talking about this in a very metaphoric way. The look may not be the most amazing look, but she took the representation of the mother, the most motherly mother that there can be, like the Virgin Mary, and she explained like this mother that cannot have babies.
mhm.
Okay. I don't know if you know this about her, but she's a writer. She writes poetry. She has a poetry book. Her husband is a famous poet, actually.
Oh.
Yeah. And when she has shared this look in all her throughout the social media, she put as a text a poem by her husband that explains this feeling very well, in my opinion. Do you want me to try to translate that poem to you?
Yes.
Maybe it's not the best translation because it's just, in the moment thing, but I'm going to try to translate it, okay? It
Yes.
says, if my mother knew that her son wants to be a mother, she would take the first flight to Spain. She would shrink her legs, She would amputate her arms. She would break her back. She would swallow one by one all of her teeth and all of her 60 years. She would become smaller and smaller. She would invent a whole new language. She would babble again just to be my daughter.
Mm,
So cute. I thought it was
so
super cute. The
cute.
look, me personally, I would have made it a lot creepier. I would have had the baby hair heads and the baby parts coming out of the flesh. I would have gone a total devastating Dracula route with this, me personally, but I think there's such sentiment with all of this that
Mhm.
I actually, with all these vulnerable things and vulnerable moments, talking about fashion is, I don't know, a little bit weird. What do you
Yeah.
think?
I love the look on the outside. I love the meaning behind it. I do think that it is a little difficult to get that message from it, but I understand it now and I respect it now,
Yeah.
where I didn't before because I just thought she slept on babies. But now it makes sense.
Yeah, and I think it's like a shared feeling for a lot of people in the LGBT community. Do you want kids, Joseph?
Do I want kids?
Yeah.
I've thought about it a lot. I used to want kids really, really bad because I just feel like that's something that I've always wanted. Like I used to want to be like a school teacher. I just wanted to like help like shape the youth. But then as I got older, I'm like, I like being selfish.
Yeah.
And there's like a part of me that still does, but then there's another part of me that's like, oh, I could just get like a corgi or a dog or something. And I like, like, because I've never necessarily had like a pet, so it's like maybe I can start with that and then we'll see how that
Yeah.
goes. But I don't know, maybe one day.
Okay. If you feel lonely, just let me know. I'll send you my children
Okay. If you ever
for a couple weeks.
yeah, if you ever don't want your children, just send them over. We'll do
No,
it.
I
We'll do a
love
little
them. I love
exchange.
them. You can send me a corgi and I'll send you my children.
Yes, there we go.
No, no, I love them. I'll never do that. I'm sorry.
Well, next up we have the Macarena, who her worst me was recreating the infamous look she did during her first episode design challenge in season 1 with the flamingo. I did not see the rubber ducky, which was great, but so it was a more elevated version, same colors. The flamingo. I actually did not like this look.
This was everything for me. Why didn't you like it?
I think I don't know if it was that she wasn't wearing hair. I understood the reference. I understood the point and why she wasn't wearing hair. I just think that there was probably a few things that she could have done to make it look a little bit nicer, but that's my opinion.
I do not respect your opinion. No, yeah, I
Okay,
do.
good. Tell me what you loved about this.
Okay, first of all, the genius, like, because this category is not only like, it's like your worst fear in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Your worst fear in the world, like going home first, like what? And then coming back and redoing that. I thought she won me with the concept, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
But she looks amazing.
She does look
She
amazing.
looks her mug. Like I was so excited for this. And it's such a like full circle moment. I think after this, she has done what she needed to do in
Yeah.
Drag Race, right?
Yeah.
Like she could present how she wanted to present and she could show what she can do. This week was so wonderful for Macarena. I'm so happy for her. I love the look. The
I love the
volumes are
eyes.
correct
The
and the
eyes
lips
were
and
very
everything.
birdy, like she was about to
Yeah.
hit you.
She was a bit scary too.
We had Cloverbish.
What did you think?
I loved it. I thought that it was creative and wacky in a way, but also it did get the message across and I fully understood it. Yeah, what do you think?
I love the look. I think it's super well constructed. I love the whole thing. Um, at first, I thought that I was missing something a little bit more personal, like from
Mm-hmm.
her individually. I understand the stigma around natural hair, even though I have no hair whatsoever, but I understand the huge stigma, and it is a lot for a lot of people. And I used to think that, but I spoke with a couple people, and I understand that it is a huge thing and a huge stigma and a huge part of someone's personality. And she had a little brush that was going like round and round
Yeah.
on top. I thought it was cute. And she comes out, she's like straightening her hair, and
Hmm.
then she throws away the straightener, and I don't know. It's immaculate. The look itself is amazing. But sometimes with Clover, I want to see a little bit more depth, more
Mm.
drama, and I sometimes feel everything is slightly superficial, not superficial, not it,
Very
that's the wrong word.
calculated.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to get to know her. I want the
Yeah.
drama of something like from within. Some it looks it maybe it's the way she presented it. I felt it like a little bit of an act, and I would love for her to be vulnerable, like
Yeah.
really vulnerable with all of us, because we know she's an amazing drag queen and
Hmm.
everything that she does is amazing. But she was put in a position where afterwards, like Visa comes out, and that's super vulnerable. So I just had that feeling that this was something like that happens to a lot of people in general.
Yes.
And she wasn't talking about her experience herself with
Specifically.
this problem, you know?
Yeah. No, that makes a whole lot of sense. And I also think it probably was in the runway of how she also talked about her look, because she didn't necessarily go into like her issues or her problems or why this is her worst me. It kind of was more of a generic overall picture.
Yeah. And she's always like super hyper. She does
Hmm.
the runway like in this super exciting way. She was acting and you could see the crying and all that, but I don't know. I like Clover so much. I want to know her like from the inside.
Hmm.
She can get deep. She doesn't have to be that draggy all the time. That's a
Yeah.
problem a lot of cis women that do drag have. Like they have to be as draggy as possible, and they forget that they're a person, not only a drag queen, and they can use that for
Yeah.
the drag.
Marta spitting out knowledge.
I hope she doesn't hate me.
Oh, she won't hate you. Next up, we have Visa. This was my favorite look of the night because of the story that it told and the story that she had told earlier about her father. I just think that this was so well executed for me. I loved that she burned the cake and then she had fire on her hands. I love she got rid of it. And then when she touched her dress and basically did the reveal of it being burnt and took off that mask, I lived. I loved it. Every bit of it.
Me too. This is one of these things that we cannot judge
Yeah.
fashion. Like runways are not necessarily about fashion statements.
Mm-hmm.
It's about a lot of things. And this was amazing because it was vulnerable and personal. And I was sobbing, to be honest. I love that the production let her use the fire
Yes.
and let her have this moment. This is performance art.
Mm-hmm.
And performance art is something that you live profoundly, that changes you and changes the people that looks at what you're doing. And these are experiences, like shared moments with all of us. And I
Yeah.
thought this was amazing. I'm so happy that she brought this and shared this in the runway. She has explained in social media that afterwards she needed quite like a moment, like a long moment alone. She wouldn't let anyone get a little close to her, and this was very, very powerful for her. She didn't understand like some jokes that the judges were making and things like that. Like she didn't feel very kindly
Mm-hmm.
of all those things because she really took this seriously.
Yeah.
It's a very profound moment. So this is exactly the reason why I love drag.
Yep. I agree with you. And I think it's just like it when a drag artist can tell a story through their look to where you don't necessarily have to know the full story behind it. It's just so compelling and it's so it just grasped at your heartstrings. Like you said, like it was a teary-eyed moment. Like it was very, very pulled at your heartstrings. I think she did a very, very great job at this and telling the story.
Yeah. So proud of this moment. I'm so proud of Drag Race España when these things happen because not all of the franchise have like this level of depth and drama and vulnerability. So I really, really liked it. It's terrible that I say that I like it. It's supposed to be
No, it's
difficult to
not.
watch, you know?
Yeah,
It's supposed to be
yeah.
uncomfortable.
But it's okay you say you like it because,
Yeah.
I liked it too. And it's good that it is making, people uncomfortable and just thinking. Did Petita make you uncomfortable in her Sharon Needles
Well,
look?
is it sharing you a little bit, right? She has so much detail. I think I have like maybe the same critique that I have with Clover.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm so interested in everything she does, and I love her personality so much that sometimes I want a little more depth and
Mm-hmm.
more vulnerable personal things. But this look is objectively amazing. Have you seen the hair that's supposed to be the smoke coming out of the ashtray?
Yes. So cool. So cool.
So clever. So clever. I think the whole look is clever and it's her worst self. I understand the struggle and all that, but my issue with her is sometimes that I'm looking for more layers of Pitita. I love Pitita so much. I want more levels, more layers of Pitita and the same thing.
I agree with you. I agree.
Yeah.
Oh. Next up, we had Bestia, and Bestia ate Violet Chachki's head.
Dobby Manur, she comes out with an extra head sometimes too.
What did you think
Yeah.
about this crazy tongue look encapsulating a head and the kiss-esque makeup on the white and black? What do we think?
Well, we have an expression in Spanish that
Mhm.
means overthinking. The way we say overthinking is like eating your own head.
Mm.
So these are like the voices in your head that are saying that you're not good enough. So the little head is supposed to be Bestia, actually,
Mhm.
and she's supposed to be the monsters of the voices in her head. I thought it was cool. There are a couple of things about the fit that I'm not liking, especially with like the white underneath.
Mhm.
Um, but it's cool.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite. I think the idea is super cool, but it's not my favorite from Bestia. But a lot of people loved it. Did you love it?
I thought that it was really good. I didn't necessarily I wasn't going to go and tell all my friends about it, but I did think it was really good and a very good interpretation of what she was saying, but not my favorite look of hers, not my favorite of the night.
The white is supposed to be like her skin having like weird monster thingies coming out of it.
Oh.
That's why she's painted in white. But since the armpits were like loose and it
Yeah.
wasn't skin tight, it didn't look like that. But if you look at the pictures that she has posted, you can see really clearly that that's what it was supposed to look like. So I think that it could have been a little bit better in a couple of places. I would have made the skirt like a good couple of inches longer, but it's a good look. Like it's a solid look.
Mm-hmm. I see what you're talking about now. When it's like tight on her body, yeah, it literally looks like white skin.
Yeah, yeah. But
And
well,
next up, we have Paquita, who comes out to describe for me what her worst her is.
so Paquita's worst nightmare is going bald. But in a more abstract, general sense, is losing like the perfection. She's all about perfection all the time. So losing the beauty, the things that she is so proud of, her boy hair goes down to her butt crack, basically. In the worst moments of her life, she has lost hair, and you're very stressed. And she relates both of those things. So it's something pretty traumatic for her. And I think this is a shared trauma of a lot of men
Yeah.
in general, right? But I must say, bald is beautiful.
Yes, bald is beautiful.
What did
Bald
you
is
think
beautiful.
about the look? I'm sure you loved it.
I did love it. I love when she came out. I thought she looked great. I will say that when she did the reveal and then, she was balding, my issue became with the outfit. I started becoming confused where my eyes should look. This has nothing to do with her look or anything, but it more so is like because she was bald, the look didn't look like this to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it looked different,
It
right?
looked different. It kind of like changed how my perception of the whole look was.
In a good way or in a bad way? In a different way.
In a different way. Yeah, it gave
Yeah.
me like a different like the outfit to me didn't look the same from she had her hair to when it didn't. So it kind of added a little different layer of texture or a little layer of like extra umph to it. So I actually enjoyed that.
I think it was supposed to be like that. And it was
Yeah.
her physicality too.
Yes.
Like you can see her freaking out and her whole posture changes. And then she's like kind of okay with it and kind of serving, even though she's freaking out. One thing that we know that we're going to get with every single Paquita runway is amazing storytelling. Like she doesn't have to do much for you to understand the whole picture, get emotions, get feelings, get vulnerability, get story, get references, get a lot of things, you know?
Yeah. Oh, all right.
Ah,
Well,
so
let's
good.
take our next break. And then after that, we're going to get into the winners. And I have multiple questions about nakedness. So let's take a break. We'll be right back. We are back. It's Exposed España. I'm here with Marta Mama, and we've been chatting about episode 4 of Drag Race España, season 3. Now we get into our main challenge winner. We have Petita, who wins her 2,500 euros. Did you agree with this winner?
I do not. I'm going to say
Same.
that every single week until Paquita wins.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Now it's like the third week where Paquita could have won and hasn't won. She's been on top every week except for the group challenge. And it feels weird, right? That she isn't
Yes, it
winning.
does.
Hmm.
And it feels weird
Hmm.
that Petita won 2 times in a row.
But Pitita offers us a lot.
Yeah,
It's
she
not
does.
only her drag, it's who she is out of drag as well. And I think she's a great confessional queen. I love her personality. She is so likable. Like, it's not always the best person doing the challenge that has to
Mhm.
win. Sometimes it's someone that is very likable and very
True.
interesting. Her aesthetic is on point. She's the smart cookie, and I'm very happy for her. I'm very happy for her. But I want my girl to win as well, you know?
Yeah. What did you think of our bottom two of Clover Bish and Kelly Roller?
Well, I wouldn't have put Clover Bish in the bottom either.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know. Not Visa, definitely. Maybe Vanya, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, I
I
can
don't
see
know.
that.
Yeah. But Kelly, I agree with her in the bottom. She did a good job in the acting challenge, but that look was a
Yeah, it
problem.
was.
And Clover, I guess that if you're not putting Vanya in the bottom is another of the options, but I think that she had a pretty strong week. I
Yeah.
don't know. What did you think of the lip sync itself? Because
Why
I
is
have an opinion.
why does everybody in Spain always want to get naked? What
What's the
is it?
problem? Like what's
What
the issue?
the issue is that there'll be like a really good song and then it's like everybody just starts taking off their clothes and I'm like to me taking off clothes has to be at a certain moment. Like there has to be a reason behind doing it. So sometimes when I feel like people just start taking off clothes, I'm get very confused.
She didn't. There's a part of the song, of the lyrics that said this song is called I'm a Mom by Rigoberta Bandini,
Okay.
and it's about mothers and women's bodies. And
Oh.
there is an empowerment, and it's a very powerful empowerment song. Um, so there is a lyric on the song where the song says that you like showing your titty like a
Mm,
Delacroix painting, like these from the French Revolution where you had the lady with one boobie
yeah.
out. Yeah, that's what the song says. So that's why she shows her boobies in that moment. But
Okay. That makes sense now.
yeah, it makes sense. But saying that, For me, this song, I would have loved if any of them had performed it in a more dramatic. It's not kakarikakakakaka. This is a
Yeah.
very powerful song that needed like a powerful performance. But when you're different and you don't want to go home, you want to show everything you've got. So you do everything you can so you don't go home. But
Yeah.
for me, it was like the Kenya Michaels and the Latrice against Kenya. It was like the two of them felt a little bit Kenya,
Yeah. Oh, I
if you know what I
agree.
mean. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but Glover is an amazing lip syncer. This is
Yes.
a difficult song for her style, but she did a very, very good job anyway. I just really want to see her like transmit feelings, you know?
Same. Because I think it would just add a different layer to her, and then it would be like we would understand her more, and maybe we would cry because we'd be peeling back the layers of an onion.
Yeah. I want all of them to do that. It's not
Yeah.
something just specific to Clover, but she's one of the ones that I haven't seen having a lot of like emotional moments for now. So I don't know. That's just what I look for in drag. Do you agree with like Clover winning the lip sync?
Yes, I do. I do agree
Yeah.
with Clover winning the lip sync. I do think it's, sad that Kelly is leaving. She did have, a staple and a stay here. And I know that you were saying that a lot of people know her and know of her, and you saw the Supreme crying out when she left. But I do think that it was her time.
Yeah, I agree. She has a huge career. She is one of the hardest working queens in Spain in general. And I think she went there with a plan of going there and, getting her coin. And I think that that's what she did. I think it's kind
Yeah.
of punk rock when
Yeah.
girls go there, I think knowing that they're not going to win and they're just coming there just to troll everybody a little bit. No, I think
Yes.
she's really winning,
So true.
Yeah.
Well, that is all we have for today's episode 4 of Drag Race España Season 3. We'll be back next week for episode 5. So thank you all so much for listening to today's episode with me, Joseph Shepard, and my fabulous co-host, Miss Marta Mama. We have new shows every Wednesday.
Yeah, make sure to tune in next Wednesday because next Wednesday will be the Snatch Game.
Ooh.
So subscribe to your show and please remember to rate and review us on your podcast app. So show us some love.
Yes, yes. And be sure to send us an email at draggedoutpod. That's draggedoutpod@gmail.com. And we may read it on the show next week.
And if you have any burning questions for us or about Drag Race, call us and leave us a message at 323-607-5116. We may play it in the next episode. Who knows,
Who knows?
Who
And you can
knows?
always follow us at La Marta Mama and at Joseph A. Shepard on the socials.
Yeah. Love you guys.
Love you. Thank you all so much. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
See you next week.